Alrighty, and we should be live. Welcome back to everybody who's been here before. For those of you who haven't, I started streaming about a year back and then just got kind of derailed by some things. So now that I got some time back, I'm going to start dumping it back into the community, bringing streams back, bringing people on. We're going to do some freestyle streams, talk about whatever comes to mind, but I'll also get a few basic instructional videos up as well so that people that are new know how to buy hex, stake hex, understand what's coming with pulsechain, understand what's coming with pulsex. Um, we'll have macroeconomical discussions as well, try to dig into some of the reasons why hex is important and what's going on in the real world and what hex's use case is compared to all those things. I think the best person for that is Wales Only. If you guys don't know who he is, go look him up on Twitter and YouTube. That's who I go to for all my macroeconomic stuff. I think he gives a really good perspective on those things. But yeah, welcome back, guys. Thanks for coming in. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, man. I mean, thanks for having me. I like being on the show, and and anybody that's watching, just feel free if you got any questions, throw them in the chat. I'm sure we'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
speaking
sure.
of, let me get the chat up here.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, that
doing
way
good
I'm
too,
looking at
man.
that.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on again. It's been a while since
Yeah,
since we streamed together.
it's been a long time, man.
Yeah,
We-
it's been about a year. Like I was mentioning
Yeah.
before, I've lived in four different zip codes and three different time zones in the
Hmm.
past 365 days, and
Yeah.
I've finally got a little bit of liability off my shoulders to try to give myself some extra time. Because, in all honesty, other than like school and work, I don't really know what I'm doing with my life, so it might as well as be
Mm,
hex.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
facts.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Definitely one of the most important things going on in my life personally.
Mm, yeah.
Some of the things that it's changed for me and the way that I think and
Mm,
some of the financial opportunity it's given me too is just absolutely incredible. And I'm saying that after a 95% dip. So
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
facts, man.
um,
Yeah.
that's definitely something people should pay attention to. And it's like Richard mentioned in the space the other day, Bitcoin down 75%, Ethereum down 85%, Hex down 95%. But which one of those is going to get up the hardest?
Exactly.
Because right now, the way it looks, especially for Bitcoin and Ethereum, is that they're just far more heavy than something like Hex because they've been around for longer. More people have bought in.
Yeah.
Um, and
Exactly.
if you're buying when you should instead of when you could, odds are everybody's already bought and your position is just not going to be as strong as the masses. So a lot of opportunity in a young project like Hex. Currently only sitting at 4 cents, so a really good buy. The T shares at which you can get paid the inflation from the system is sitting at $956. Um, if you're thinking you want to stake long term, if you're a long term thinker, you can go ahead and cut that price down to just over $300 because if you're staking for at least 10 years, you're going to get triple the amount of money that you're putting in for the T share value. So
Mm.
if you're thinking at least 10 to 15 years on how long you want to hold it, probably just over $300 for one T-share. And that's something I always like to point out because personally for me, if you're somebody that doesn't have a lot of money to invest and you're trying to get a good position, using the time preference and staking long term is the best way to gain that volume and the best way to gain the best positions. So um,
Yeah.
keep that in mind. Keep that in mind whenever you're going into it, because if you want to, if you just want to buy and hold and see what happens, it's good exposure. But if you're really somebody that's thinking about it long term, definitely go after those 10 to 15-year stakes because it's going to give you the best rate at which you're going to get paid that inflation from the system.
Mm.
Yeah. And this is all even not even counting the free copy we get on pulsechain. So
Oh
Oh
yeah.
like
yeah, oh
yeah,
yeah,
like technically you could even like when you're calculating, you could even cut the number in half because you can think like you're getting a
yeah.
basically a two for one deal. So
Oh yeah.
Exactly. So I mean,
yeah.
you're basically, for your money, if you're putting in for 10 to 15 years, you're getting a 6x in T-share value right off the bat. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, when those networks split, the T-share value is going to do its own thing because the price
Yeah.
and the markets are going to do their own thing. So you never really know how those are going to match up, how they're going to balance out. But at the end of the day, like just off of ratios, you're talking about a 6x just off of pressing the stake button for 10 to 15-year period.
Facts. And it also gives a big like incentive for people to buy more, stake more, and stake longer just because of that copy. I mean, why not? Like it's free time, man.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's also just a really good opportunity to delay that gratification to kind of get a position over bigger people in the market, because what you see, especially in the expiring stakes, is that most of the people with a lot of money, they're using the system for short-term ROI. Those are a lot of these guys creating this wall up here. I mean, those are bigger wallets staking, making their ROI and restaking. So if you want to be able to have a position as big as these guys one day, you need to be staked further out here so that they have to put more of their money towards just to keep their position going forward into the future. And that's just, you know, that's just how the game is. And that's why I say, if you're somebody that has, you know, if you don't have a lot of money to put towards this, using the time preference and delaying that gratification is the best way to gain a better position in this market.
That's a testament to, you know, how well the system was designed, because you could essentially, you know, just outperform whales that have a lower time preference, you know, just by throwing your money out there. 15 years. It's just great design by Richard, you know, with how much the longer pays better bonus scales in comparison with to the bigger pays better.
Absolutely. And
I mean, that's also more appealing for somebody who doesn't have thousands of dollars or millions of dollars to throw towards it. You know, they just know if they delay it longer, that gratification is going to pay off, man. I mean, it just makes more sense. You have to wait a while, but it's worth it in the end.
And just another visual, because the most important thing about Hex and staking is what it does to this rate right here. This is what allows meat to be on the bone for people that are going to come in later, because this is what dilutes the current positions. You know, this guy currently sitting at 23,000 hex per T-share, and that's absolutely crazy. I can't imagine, especially for some of you OGs, you know, being able to stake and get, you know, a T-share at a 10,000 hex. And now, you know, after this huge supply dump, and then obviously just, you know, time doing its thing, we're sitting at 23,000 hex per T-share. So it doesn't matter what the price is doing, the ability to get that T-share is becoming more expensive based on the ROI that's being paid out to the people that are staking. And I think this chart does a really good job of telling you how that's going to be affected in the future, because like I said, you've got these big whales up here that are holding a lot of hex. You know, as of right here for the 27th of July, you're looking at 4.42 billion hex and only 264,000 T-shares expiring. Now, the more T-shares expire, the more, well, it's not necessarily the more T-shares, it's how much ROI is being paid out by those T-shares. So 264,000 T-shares on a short-term period is going to be nothing compared to these 7 million T-shares that have been paying out over a, you know, 10-year period. And there's more hex over here. So even though there's these people that have more, what's down the line and the ROI that's being paid out into the system is ultimately what's making it more valuable, because as that T-share rate goes up, it simply has to drag the price with it, because people are going to have to spend more money just to keep that same position of ROI. Hex chart looking pretty, honestly looking pretty good. I think we could still make another leg down to this 1 to 2 cent area, if you know, that max pain that everybody talks about, but still a pretty decent bottom it looks like here. And I mean, this doesn't even, whenever you really look at it, especially on this logarithmic chart, it doesn't even look like that's a 95% dip. That looks like a 50% dip, and then on top of that, you're making like 40% APY. If you're staked for the average stake length. You know, so, you know, you have everything else in crypto going down. You know, if it's not going down to absolute zero because you're on some trading platform, you know, you're still down in crypto. And I think that if you're down the way a lot of cryptos are right now, you'd at least rather be making that 30 to 40% APY to make up for some of that loss. And most people in crypto aren't, and yet they're still ignoring that this ROI is here. It's this bear market has made it very obvious why Hex is superior to the rest of the space. And this bear market was absolutely essential for Hex to make its next big move, because it really had to wash out some of these other people that were sitting here labeling us a scam, and then we're turning around and stealing billions from their users. It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, for sure. I think Richard's gonna enjoy some more bragging rights. The next time we start to go back up, it's gonna be pretty glorious.
Yeah, people are gonna start turning their heads and being like, "Yo, what's that over there?" Like, it's really gonna start bringing a lot of attention. People that pay attention to the whole crypto space and everything like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I think we're all looking forward for that bull market to start its run.
Yeah. It's like Richard mentioned, though, as long as governments are raising interest rates on things, everything's going to kind of continue to go down.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm not really sure for how much longer they can continue to do that. How sustainable that's going to be, because obviously we're already seeing the repercussions of it, and if they continue to do it, things are just going to get progressively worse. So eventually that smart money's got to come back into crypto, and when it does, they're going to be looking at the projects that actually survived this bear market and didn't make a complete fool of themselves, because that's what a lot of these projects have done. Celsius done for, Luna done for, and the fact that like I get on Twitter and it's like billions of dollars lost to this project, and then the same project is like 2.0 and everybody's like, I'm buying in, and I'm like, what?
Some people,
why? It's pure delusion how some of these projects can just keep on rinse and repeating the same criminal things that they're trying to do with crypto.
Luna was actually the pretty much the worst example of that, because basically Luna 2.0 was just a little quick bailout for some of the largest holders of Luna, and everybody else got wrecked twice.
Oh yeah,
it's just fucking horrible.
Yeah,
hell no, man.
And the biggest problem is just like people being so convinced that they're right about something, because it's like it's another thing that Richard mentioned in that Twitter space that he was in the other day. You've got one guy on one screen convinced that something should happen, and then one guy on the screen that's trying to steal money from the other guy, and then the guy in the middle is just kind of reaping all the rewards from them. So I think the next big jump in crypto that we should really have is just like people just having a little bit of humility on what they do and don't know.
Yeah.
Ooh, Mac, welcome in, bro. How you doing?
Hey.
What's going on, Mac?
What's up, Mac?
Good boys. How are you?
Not
Awesome,
too bad. We were just talking about shitty cryptos, scams, trading platforms, stealing millions from their users, and then making new projects to get them back in.
Did you see the usual?
Yeah, daily occurrence these days. Did you see that KuCoin got hacked? Or they're not hacked, but like same thing that's going through all like Celsius or them. They're going through liquidation now.
Yeah,
just like every single day there's another goddamn centralized exchange that's just about to fall apart. Like,
and if you look off to the left, you'll see more assholes getting liquidated.
Facts.
Well, it's funny because it's actually like it all started from Three Arrows Capital, because they kind of like borrowed from all of these different platforms, and so like all these different platforms are cross leveraged with each other. So it's basically House of Cards or Stack of Dominoes.
It's crazy, because what's the deal with Three Arrows? Because like I don't know, I didn't really like look into them like that, but I know at one point we were under the impression that they were like a big holder of Hex. Did that change? Do you think they ended up selling a lot of Hex? Or
they actually never owned Hex? It was because we have this one guy in the community that kind of likes to do chain analysis, and there was a certain software that he used, and that software kind of misflagged one of the wallet, one of the big wallets, the big whales in Hex, it kind of misflagged that wallet as Three Arrows Capital, but it was actually a completely different entity. So yeah, so Three Arrows had basically no exposure to Hex whatsoever, and the proof of that was also that they have a list of assets that they invest in on their website, and Hex was never listed on there. So,
okay,
yeah,
gotcha. Yeah, so they were never really in. That was just Twitter talk.
And that's actually a good thing, I think, because
Oh yeah, no,
since all these things failed and they were losing money left and right, they would have had to like EES and sell all the Hex to cover all their losses.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's a good thing that they're
no, because I mean we already had a 95% dip. I can't imagine if they were holding a shitload and had to dump it as well.
Oh my god,
we'd probably be like less than a penny right now if that were the case.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh, dude. I got trapped out of sitting here.
That's originally where I was, that's originally where I was buying, was under a cent. And I just remember, the talk was just like getting to 1 cent and staying over 1 cent.
Oh my god.
And then
yeah,
before we knew it, we're all sitting at 50 cents and we're like, damn, we're never getting another t-shirt again.
Facts.
That's what it felt like, man. This is such a blessing. Like,
yeah,
I know that it's painful as well, but like, god damn, if you felt like you missed out, this is just like a reset. Like,
I mean,
it's all just a matter of perspective, and everybody has the grass is greener on the other side syndrome. But like once we start pumping back up again, people will wish for times like this where we had a dip and you could buy more Hex cheaper. So yeah,
absolutely. If there's anyone out there right now, facts, man. I'll never be satisfied. Like I always want that to be going up.
Yeah. I
There's
mean, Vince said it best with that, green as grass on the other side. Hexicans. I mean, we've been listening to Richard long enough, and we've seen Hex do what it's doing for long enough to know that, like, we're all kind of irking to take over the world. Like, we're
just a little. Just a little.
Just that we were right, crack. We just needed it.
We told you so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're all irking for it. I mean, and it's crazy too, because I feel like we're already right. I mean, we're at a 95% dip sitting at 4 cents. That's quadruple the price that any of us were dreaming about, a little bit over a year and a half ago. So
absolutely.
It's still an incredible place to be. And like I said, I mean, we're sitting at $956 for one T-share, and if you're thinking long term, I mean, dude, you can get a T-share for a little over $300 right now. Like, that's so good.
So good. You think about those like centralized exchanges as well, and the gatekeeping that has plagued Hex and our community. Like, if they're all leveraged up behind the scenes, they all are like gatekeeping together. Like, literally, there's this giant centralized. I don't know who's written on the tester. I don't know who's behind all of the the lending and shit like that. But if it's like it's this circular centralized circle jerk of like gatekeeping, like
basically,
fuck,
dude. I can't imagine I can't imagine being on a basketball court and getting dunked on by somebody, and then as soon as they turn around, just like talking shit and being like, man, like, yeah, I just got dunked on, but this guy's a fucking scammer. So like,
that was basically
doing it, man.
Yeah, that was basically the Twitter space that Richard was in a couple days ago. It was like 1 against 8, and he was like running circles around them, but like, they fall back on the same old insults like scammer and.
Yeah, the one that got me was the I don't feel like this is a very mature conversation with all the slander that's being used. I was like, well, maybe if you weren't so stupid, you wouldn't have to use slander to get your attention. Like, it's just the most cognitive dissonant shit I've ever, like, how can you not tell when you're just wrong about something and somebody's right about something? Like, I feel like it's pretty obvious, especially when as much evidence is, because it's not like Richard just talks out his ass. Like, he brings receipts. Not at all. Yeah, like, you can verify pretty much anything this guy says. So it's like, if you're not doing that verification and just sticking to your opinions, you're running yourself in circles, and it's gonna bite you in the ass for sure.
Well, I think a lot of it is ego. People just don't want to admit when they're wrong. They don't want to take advice.
Yeah,
They will literally go bankrupt. They will go broke with their ego.
I had to be careful trying to get into this page without like showing wallet shit.
Yeah,
but,
be careful.
Gotta mind that OPSEC.
I mean, we just heard Tangent go like toe to toe with Richard. That has been the best, like, argument, counter argument, back and forth, most educated, most like, I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna try and crush Richard, you know?
Yeah,
like
literally
that's
the best
balls,
Bitcoiner.
man.
And
that's balls, son.
It's also like that's just that Hexagon energy, you know. It's like Richard says all the time. It's like, you know, Hexagons debate Bitcoin better than Bitcoin guys do.
Exactly,
like they really do. Like,
Yeah.
and it's because we have a general better understanding of, you
Yeah.
know, like listening to somebody like him as opposed to fucking Page Shills really shows a difference in your understanding
for sure.
of something.
Yeah,
Tangent's gonna get his hands dirty.
Yeah, Tangent also, you know, has the experience to back it up because you know, he's a Bitcoin OG from like 2013, and like his name's even on the like the Mt. Gox creditors list. So yeah, I mean,
Wow.
he's a legit OG. So yeah, shout out to him.
He's also like, you can tell that there's I feel like the Bitcoin maxis live in that PC, like, oh, don't hurt me world, you know, like, oh, I'm so sensitive. You can't say anything bad about our thing. Otherwise, I'm going to get upset and leave. Tangent will just go, like, he'll be like, no, like, fuck you, man. Like, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to get dirty in the mud and we're going to argue this out and we're going to get to the bottom of things. Whereas, like, none of the Bitcoin guys give a shit about any of that. They're like, as soon as Richard has this argument, he just steamrolls them, and then they're like, I'm gonna leave because you made me feel unprofessional. Or this is unprofessional. Like, god damn, son. Like, you better get some better, like, people on your team to defend your shit. Because
it's
if
literally
Richard's gone through all of them, there's no one left. There's no one left.
No one can debate him. No one.
Like in that space, like literally, like the only one person putting up a fight was Tone Vase. People were just like,
dude, that's a sad day when
Richard would give them
like the last one.
time to respond, and you know, it'd just be like silence because they can't argue. They have no, you know.
I'm not gonna lie, Richard really does deserve like better adversaries. Like some of the guys that he's had to debate and just the amount of stupidity the guys had to deal with, like I'm surprised he's even still here, still trying. Like I would have been like, you know what,
it's just a complete waste of his time.
I tried making y'all rich. I'm done. y'all are intellectually incapable.
I've felt this from like just my own financial freedom. Like once you're kind of set in that world of financial freedom, unless you have like things that you want to go and pursue, there's nothing to do with your time. Like you can go and get healthy, you can go and get fit, you can go and buy a new house, and you can go and do that, you can go and upgrade shit and all of that, but that has a deadline too. Everything has a deadline. So like Richard, he's been here for 20 fucking years, dog. Like retired at 23, 24, 25.
Can you imagine already being rich and then buying the crypto bottom?
Oh my god.
Like whoops, my bad.
Selling the top and buying the bottom.
Yeah, it's mind blowing. It's mind shattering.
Guy was already wealthy, and then he was just mining, you know, what was it, you know, 50 cent block rewards.
That's the thing that frustrates me about like some of the Hexagons fighting out of the pulsechain launch lately, because it's like they think that, you know, like Richard is spending like the sacrifice money. It's like I'm pretty sure he has like several sources of income that he can burn through before he starts, you know, spending the money that we sent to the sacrifice.
It's also like people also don't realize like how important that project actually is to Richard, because he launched Hex with a lot of really good intention, and it's done absolutely amazing. But there is some blockades and, you know, allowing people some of the accessibility that's important to onboarding. And so, you know, to make sure that Hex continues to thrive the way it is, And, you know, for him to keep that glory over that project, he needs a new consensus network that's going to allow for people to, you know, get into it at a, you know, in an easier fashion. Because when the bulls come back, you know, those Ethereum gas prices are going right back to where they were. And your ability to get in and stake on that chain without losing, you know, especially for those of us that don't have a lot of money and, you know, we're still wage slaves and we're just putting in whatever we can, you know, you're going to lose, you know, you could lose half your investment just off of gas fees off the bat. Like,
absolutely. While this dip is here, make sure you get enough Ethereum for the next 15 years. This is your last chance.
Yeah.
Next cycle, it's going to levels that, you know, even if it comes back to like $5,000 at the bottom of next cycle, you really want to be dumping 50 grand to get 10 Ethereum for the next 15 years? Get it now. Get it now. Wait, obviously, until this next leg down. But like, geez, get what you need now and hold on to it for dear life.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Richard said the other day, actually, that everyone else bought the top and he sold the top. I am pretty sure that he said
he was speaking of Bitcoin specifically. Yeah.
And so I mean, I'm sure he's at the point that, like, if he's still holding a lot of Bitcoin, and especially with, you know, pulsechain and pulsex and Hex existing on its, you know, own vertically integrated system, odds are he's going to be moving those funds into what he believes is a better system. Like, you know, he's not gonna leave it in something that he believes is, you know, spaghetti code. So, you know,
write that all the way down. Nope.
No, he's, you know, he's already said it, you know, everybody's bought. It's too heavy, top of the S curve. The gains are limp as fuck, and you're not gonna, you know, you're just not gonna get out of it what you could be getting out of it. And he's not gonna preach that to us and then leave his money in it. So, you know, you know, you know, it would definitely not surprise me if he's selling his Bitcoin if he has any left.
I'm sure he has a little bit left, but you know, I don't know, maybe not. In, you know,
I guess it's hard to say. He's pretty up there with his OPSEC, so he doesn't really talk about his finances at all.
Except for when he's bragging on stream, you know, he got them $50 million watches or something behind him all the time. He doesn't mind bragging, which he deserves it.
For real. Absolutely. But what I was gonna show here is, I mean, guys, that a year and a half ago we had $52 T-shares, and then this is right after the big payday dump. I mean, if you're going back to, you know, OG status, we had 61-cent T-shares. You know, we're talking maybe a year and a half later, we're sitting at $52 T-shares. You go about another year into the future, we're sitting at $8,000 T-shares, and now, you know, probably a little over a year and a half from that $52 mark, after a 95% dip, we're still sitting at $900 T-shares. So if you don't see just how fast this price is actually moving and where the price of these T-shares are going, this is why I say it's important, especially if you don't have a lot of money, to be thinking long term, because the most important thing you can do if you're interested in coming into the Hex system is getting as much T-shares as possible, because this price is not waiting on anybody because of that T-share rate. That T-share rate only goes up and to the right, and even if the price is going down, you know, eventually the ROI is just going to be paying out so much that the price of the T-share is going to be going up no matter what the price is doing.
We just cracked over 23,000 Hex per T-shirt the other day as well.
Yeah, 23,000. And, you know, to mind you, at the beginning of all this, you know, about 3 years ago, we were sitting at 10,000, you know, 10,000 Hex per T-share. We had the huge payday supply dump. It jumped up to 16,000. This is about whenever oh my God. This is about when I came in. Come on. Yeah, sitting at about 16,000 after the big payday, and just, you know, letting time do its thing and how it's worked out. You can see these jumps right here that are getting larger and bigger. They're just going to keep doing that. And this T-share rate is just going to go exponential. You know,
there's an interesting dynamic in the system itself where it's like the early days and years of the system, it's generous to those that are early.
Yeah.
So we are still all early. There's going to be this inflection point, and I don't know when it's going to come, but it's going to be in the next 3, maybe 5 years, where the generosity flips into scarcity. And it's like, oh, okay, all of those people that were early into the system, they still might be holding their T-shares, but now you're just going to get so diluted because the T-share rate goes up so much that, like, lock your T-shares in for as long as you can, and for as, you know.
Do you think that's whenever like Hex itself just goes deflationary?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think that during those times as well, the price will increase much more than it has now. In the early few years, all of these people that are irresponsible in the system with large amounts of T-shares, they can gamify the system to, you know, create more Hex for themselves. But as that rate rises over time, the ability to do that diminishes. So in the early days, you're going to have, you know, big volatile price swings, and you look, you still will have them down the line at 10 and 15 years where all of these stakes are staked out. But the ability for those early guys to keep doing that T-share game will end. There's a point where that game runs out of steam. And if Richard knows that, the guys who designed that knows that. Like, so there's windows inside of the system itself where it's like, okay, now is a window of massive opportunity right now, because the price is, you know, gone to 90-something% of where it was at. You can get more T-shares now.
Yeah, and it's like we were mentioning at the start of the stream, you know, like we're really referring to one bag right now. Like the fact that you could literally get a copy of this when pulsechain comes out is also the other factor to take into play, because like you cannot just, you know, get your position now at a really good price, but then you can literally double up on that position by getting your copy onto another network. So it's really large. Like, I think people are going to look back at this time as probably one of the greatest opportunities to be buying into Hex, you know, outside of like getting in before the big payday.
I agree with that completely.
Yeah. Oh, and here's something else to think about too. So you know how Ethereum is basically gonna, you know, hard fork into 2.0, right? So essentially, we could also have a third copy of Hex if conditions play out right, because since the miners are going to be forked out and the, you know, the new chain is going to be proof of stake, the miners, you know, obviously don't want to lose their bread and butter, because, you know, the proof of work is how they make money. So essentially, they, you know, they could split off into a new chain based on Ethereum 1.0, and so if that happens, you know, all the ERC20s get copied again, and so, you know, that means potentially a third copy of Hex.
Damn, wouldn't that be nice? Oh my god!
So
that'd be insane.
I mean,
so do you think Ethereum will ever, like, especially now that they're going to see Richard using a, you know, a proof of weight system as opposed to a proof of work, do you think they might ever try to make the decision to go to proof of weight instead? Or do you think they're more likely to cling on to that proof of work system? Because it's like you said, that's how they make their money.
Yeah, it is how they make their money. Unless, you know, I think I'm not exactly sure what the returns are on ETH staking, because I know that, you know, that's been out for a little while. I think you need minimum like 32 ETH to stake, and I'm not sure how lucrative that is. So I'm banking on the fact that maybe, you know, they want to keep their proof of stake or proof of work, sorry, you know, way of making money. So yeah, I think they, you know, they might just stick with that, because you know, they already have all the hardware and stuff, and you know, all the infrastructure set up. So yeah, well, and also, but the counter argument to that is that you know, Ethereum Classic, which is, you know, already is actually the original Ethereum, you could say, that it also is mined with the same hashing algorithm. So potentially, if the miners don't, you know, fork off and make a new proof of work chain, they could just switch over to Ethereum Classic, and you know, it might be game over for a third copy. But yeah, I mean, we never know.
Yeah. Interesting what's going on there. I haven't really even thought about, like, I'm so focused on pulsechain. I haven't even I haven't even thought about what Ethereum's going to do afterwards because it's definitely going to force the space to move in some kind of way.
Pulsechain. Oh yeah.
I do think in regards to Hex though, I'm pretty sure that like Richard himself and the top holders in Hex, they definitely do want to see their original investment protected. So I don't think they're going to let eHex die, as some people speculate out there. I think it'll continue to thrive in some way.
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, some hexagons out there have signaled that they're going to migrate everything they have over to pulsechain, which is it's fine. That's their personal decision. Yeah, but I mean, as for me and a few other hexagons, I think it's better to kind of just hedge your bets and just keep your holdings in both systems and see what happens.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm locked in so long term. I don't really have a choice because I'm.
Yeah, exactly. Most people have entire 15-year ladders anyway, so we're kind of forced to to play both sides and see what happens.
Yeah. And the fact that I think that fact that pulsechain's gonna help Ethereum even after all of Ethereum's bullshit is also just what makes it dope.
Absolutely.
We're going to fork away from you. We're going to go do our own thing. And we're just going to help you out at the same time.
We'll take some of the load off your system.
Like a really, like the pettiest way of saying we won.
Walking away is winning in some ways. Like,
I mean,
you don't want to play.
Yeah, it's funny and ironic because Richard likes bragging and being the best and all that, but in regards to Ethereum, when you actually listen to kind of the way he frames it, he doesn't call pulsechain like an Ethereum killer like the rest of the founders of competing blockchains do. He says we're out here to help Ethereum by offloading some of the user base, to make it actually usable again. So yeah, I know it's just kind of interesting that duality of the sides that he's playing. So yeah.
Here's some other interesting thoughts that I have about just ETH and pulsechain in general. How old is ETH now? Is that like 6-7 years old now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it 2013?
Like 2013? Yeah.
Probably. Do you think that by the time pulsechain's 7 years old, we might need to fork pulsechain again?
No, I don't.
Never.
I maybe not never, but I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be better in the sense that like it's gonna take longer for us to get to that point than it took.
Absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. I mean,
do you think at year 15 we might need to do another
definitely for sure.
Maybe.
Okay, so that's another copy of our hex bags.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with triple the time. I'm gonna say not 7 or 8 years. I'm gonna say 20 to 25 years. We'll probably have before it. I think conservative. I think that Richard's gonna do everything he can to like really try to make sure that if that is something that is inevitable, that it's good enough that it's put off for the
it is a good sign in a way because having lots of users on your chain means that it's popular, and that's not in itself a bad thing. It just means that fees are higher, but since we got in at the ground floor, that just means that our gains scaled up with the fees. So for us as quote unquote pulsechain OGs, that's not going to be such a bad thing. But for the new people that we want on board at that time, they need a clean slate. So it would be good for Richard to fork pulsechain into something new so that they could start fresh.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing about ETH staking is that it's not going to be anywhere near as simple, maybe technically simple as delegating on pulsechain.
For sure, yeah. I played around with that, and I'm pretty sure you have to on testnet. It's like, it's just super easy.
Boom, delegate to your validator on Ethereum, like staking ETH and running nodes and maintaining that. Like if you go offline, you're losing money. If your computer dies, you're losing money. And you're putting up 32 Ethereum to do it. Like, what's the price of Ethereum right now? You want to put
like
up 30,000? Yeah, $30,000, $45,000 just to make how much of the gains? Yeah, let me just dump $40,000 into this thing to make 5%. Yeah.
Oh my god, bro!
Yeah,
People,
that's pretty trash.
it's crazy. I don't think I've ever seen such a large gap in solution. It like, as far as my understanding of history, like I've never seen such a huge overruling problem with something and have such a good solution to it, and it's just being completely ignored. Like
what do you think that spells? Spell it out, man. Say it. We fucking won, dude.
It's just it's so evolutionary, because it's like with how big the problem is and how good the solution is, it's crazy how much it's going to change the world when people wake up and start realizing it.
I know that these people that think like this is just some like BSC rip-off, copy-paste bullshit. Like, and there's a lot of people out there that think that.
It's like, no, like your governments are printing money and devaluing what you have. Meanwhile, our inflation is literally fucking paying you. It's like for like just that alone is like, and then like, you know, of course you have like certain cryptos like Bitcoin and Ethereum that are better than what we have, but they're not necessarily the best solution.
No,
like we have better technology, we have better solutions, we have more efficient ways of doing the same things in a more secure state. So it's like it blows my mind just like how big the solution is actually going to be when people realize it, because it's like, again, I don't think I've ever, in my understanding of history, I don't think I've ever seen such a big overruling problem have such a great solution, and it's just being ignored. You know, usually these things are something that, like, if a solution's created, it takes, you know, over a lifetime to make it. You know, this guy created Hex, probably the best financial solution we've ever seen. And
facts. I completely agree with that.
He did it in a couple years, and now it's just sitting here, a solution to pretty much a lot of our problems as far as like the characteristics of, you know, financing and, you know, the monetary policy that follows. Like, especially when you start talking about pulsechain and the political infrastructure that's built on top of it, like it's so big, dude.
So big. And it's going to take everyone that's not paying attention by total surprise. Name one other other founder that's trying to. Yeah, I saw that.
He's just sitting there listening to us talk about crypto, crying.
Damn.
Name one other founder that's trying to do, or that has half the vision of what Richard has.
It's just not even close, because most of their vision is like, how can I get rich off of this technology?
Yeah, and Richard, they get bogged down in the fucking circle jerk of like computer science. Like, oh guys, this is the most important. We need to solve this problem. The X needs equal what? And they're like, yeah, bro, no. Like go to the real world, see people are suffering, and then come up with a fucking solution to the problem. Like,
it's like Richard says, like, bro, you're excited about the technology, but the technology is literally shit. It just it's good. It's good for a couple of things that we really need, so we need to make it work in the best way possible. But like overall, like, you're dealing with really stressful, insecure, really tedious technology that really doesn't work that well, and that's why we've seen the problems in crypto that we do. It really takes like deep game theory and intricate thought to make these things, and obviously just well understanding of what the technology actually is, to make it as secure as we need it, but also work with those characteristics that we need from it. Because sometimes if you can lean, you know, either way, you can get the censorship resistant, maybe, but then it's just not secure at all. It's always going down. It's forcing people to, like, you know, hand their keys over, like, and I don't know, like, it, you know, it's become very obvious that, like, if you're here for the technology, guys, there's a lot better software out there. Like, you know, there's software out there that's a lot easier to work with than, you know, blockchain software. It's not the best technology, but it does have these properties that if we use and we hone them in the correct way, could really help with some very large macroeconomic problems that we're dealing with today.
That's a great description. That's an excellent description. You're seeing the same kind of thing play out with the fucking metaverse, man. Like everyone's
I was
like,
just gonna mention that. Yeah, it's like
metaverse VR. It's all go digital. Like
people think it's
but
this
bro,
great
it's
like
trash.
gaming revolution, but we've had so many good games over like past few decades, and they're all like on centralized company servers. It's just like backwards revolution, man.
It kind of blows my mind when people are like, "Oh, guys, the next big craze in blockchain is going to be like endless NFTs and gaming, and everything's going to be an NFT." And like, bro, they can't even scale Ethereum. Well, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
they are
what
straight.
the fuck are you talking about at that point?
They are
like,
straight feeding these youngins to the metaverse, bro. This shit is crazy. Like, y'all need to stop with all that digital property shit, bro. Y'all are crazy.
I'd love it. I would love it, dude. If everything was connected like that, that's the ultimate end goal. But it's the end goal. We're not going to get there for decades.
Like, if you're worried about
decades.
NFTs and gaming before you're worried about the actual financial problems that the world is facing right now, like your head's just in the wrong space, man. Like it's just not about that right now. I mean, look the fuck up. Like, open your eyes, lift up your head, and look up at what's going on in the world, because it's like we're literally getting our shit ran by a bunch of crackhead pedophiles. Like,
it's literally the most backwards thing too, because like people in the mainstream, like they don't know what real crypto is, and they look at NFTs as a way of trying to make money and stuff, but they don't realize that the fungibility is actually what makes crypto go up, and it's just stupid. Like, because the whole non-fungible aspect of it means that like when one particular NFT's value goes up, the other NFTs don't go up in value with that individual.
And it's like NFT, also like what is anything in the real world right now that we have at our access that is fungible?
Yeah,
like I like maybe to an extent for some of it, but it's like I don't know what exactly people mean when they're using that word.
These definitions that get thrown around are so fast and loose, man. Like that. It's what, like, we literally saw this
because
what turn vase and decentralization. Oh, but it's not decentralized. Like, are we just gonna endlessly like argue over semantics and definitions about this stuff? Because like your definition of decentralized, is it economic decentralization? Is it network decentralization? Is it multiple things of this? How do you define it versus how do I define it? We're all defining everything slightly differently. We can pretend that we're not, but we are. Like,
somebody having the ability to like control the policy around Hex, change its code, operate how they want it to operate, instead of not being transparent about it, is a totally different centralization than like Richard owning a certain percentage of the coins.
Absolutely.
Like there's
exactly like there's systematic decentralization versus like economic decentralization.
You have the the policy centralization of it, and then you have the the actual ownership, and it's two totally different things. Because like somebody's ability to censor not only what you output, but what you input as well, from how you're understanding about something, versus somebody just owning a certain percentage of that company to hold its value at some base level, is two totally just completely different things. And I think people really get that mixed up because they see how much Richard owns, and I'm like, yo, hold up. Like, Jeff Bezos owns how much of Amazon, and it owns 50% of commerce in the world. Like, he talks about this 24/7. Like, centralized ownership works, but in crypto, and especially with the characteristics of crypto and how it can be managed and created, like it just doesn't even matter because again, like the contract is immutable. It doesn't have admin keys. It can't be changed. So you going and interacting with it is 100% your work. Because if you can go on somewhere and you can verify what this thing is, and it's not going to change, it's going to stay exactly the way it is, and it's going to operate the way it is described to you, that's all your work. And if you're not looking into that investment and you're not understanding what it does, like yeah, again, that's completely on you, because the guy literally says on his front page, crypto dips 85 to 95%. Like, you know, but the code operates in a specific way. It's going to do exactly what it was designed to do. And if you don't know what that is, that's the first step, because, you know, as Wales likes to say, there's a difference between investing and pissing in the wind, and most of these motherfuckers in crypto are just pissing in the wind.
Facts.
So
I think that like people wrongly get that whole idea about like the OA holding all of these coins as well. Like over time, they're getting diluted.
Exactly.
So like,
yeah, because they're not staking.
Exactly. Or they have like even the OA daughter addresses. I think Richard said recently they only have an average stake length of like 6 years.
Yeah.
So if you're staking 15 years and you're really in this for the long game, like those OA address coins are getting diluted. Now, it's not the same as Bitcoin, where Satoshi owns 5% of the coins forever because there's no inflation in the system.
yeah.
So he's always going to own, you know, that amount of the total supply. But in Hex, it just keeps inflating. It keeps inflating. Unless, you know, those start restaking out longer, what's going to happen is like in the beginning, the OA is going to have all of this supply. But if the system, you know, does what it's meant to do over the course of the time, everyone has the ability to almost rise to a higher level closer to the OA than any other system. Like Bitcoin, Satoshi's going to own 5% of those coins forever, even if it inflates all the way to 21 million or whatever. Like, because there's a fixed supply, but there's no fixed supply in Hex. So, like, I don't understand. It's there to protect in the early days. In the early days, and then when we're at 30 years, if these OA daughter addresses never restake, like that means he's giving up, he's diluting himself for everyone else.
Yeah, literally. And so it's also that too, is that like if you're
so weird about that.
if you're understanding like the action and the long-term goals, you would understand that you're benefiting from the actions of the contract and the person who owns all those coins. And also like you can verify the integrity of what's happening too, because it's all on chain. Like you can see this stuff on chain. It's not hidden from you. You can verify it all.
That's one of the weirdest things when people are like, "Oh, Richard's selling the sacrifice coins for flexing."
My God,
go on chain and look at it, dude.
dude.
Go on chain and look at
like
the
money's like all
sacrifice
still there.
Yeah, scammer. This shit's just crazy. It's like it's like
what?
It's like his own. It's like if they're not shouting scammer, they're shouting a bunch of shit that literally proves why we're successful, and they don't even realize.
Oh man. And then like if you have to resort to anything that's not like facts and hard evidence, like trying to fat shame Richard the other day, or like trying to do it like any of that shit. Like you've already lost, dog. You've already lost. Leave the room. Hang up the microphone.
He's like, if you're a self-help person, why are you fat? And it's like it's like all right, dude, like turn on your camera so I can roast the shit out of you. I'm sure you're not, you know, the Prince of Bel-Air yourself, you know, like I don't know, man. Now you're just being judgmental.
It also goes to show his stupidity, because you know, like self-help isn't just physical, you know, health, right?
No.
And it's, you know, there's so many facets to self-help that aren't like, you know, how to improve your actual physical health.
Yeah, like I'm definitely not in shape. I played basketball earlier. Boy, in this southern heat, I was gasping for air. I'm not in shape. I bet Richard would last longer out there than I would. Trust me. I
It's
know
all right.
I know he's
Human
healthier
hex
than I am.
trafficker.
Human hex trafficker.
One of the best names ever.
That's hilarious.
That's
Speaking
so
of, y'all seen the world lately?
How can you not?
Nah.
guy.
God, it's a fucking dumpster fire.
Exercise.
Tomorrow.
I
Yeah,
like
let's
it.
go.
Let's go.
Flex on them.
Exercise.
That is so hilarious. Payouts over 6 this entire bear market. I know I always see you drooling over it on Twitter, Mac. You always see the payouts
man.
and you're like, hell yeah.
It's something to like look forward to every day, dude. I don't think like honestly, I was thinking this like coming back in from exercising earlier. It was just like, man, I don't think that there's anything that's ever gonna top me getting a daily fucking payout in crypto. Dude. Ever.
And that's what I try to explain to people. Like, you can literally go in and you can take the price of Hex, you can calculate how much you're making, and just look at how much you made for doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Just you did absolutely nothing and you got paid that today for doing nothing. A clock on the Hex website ticked over and you got fucking paid.
And then 2 chains, man. 2 chains paid out. Like,
yeah.
God damn, son. And then 3 maybe or 4.
Yeah.
Let's not get
God.
ahead of
we get way ahead now.
So how do
we
you
get another ETH fork and a pulse chain fork?
Oh my
God.
I guess another good question for you guys is like, because I want to get into more like a little bit away from crypto now and a little bit more into like what's going on in the world, because it's like, how do you think people like governments and banks are going to react to something like Hex whenever they really figure it out? You know, do you think it's going to be more of like a slow migration, or do you think it's going to be like a really violent pullback to try to keep people away from it? Like, do you know what I mean?
We'll probably go through waves of both. I think initially it'll shock so much that it'll be like, like, well, we're losing control. We're losing control a little bit. We have to do things to not lose so much control.
Yeah,
we're gonna get desperate.
Like,
because it's crazy. Like, you know, just what I've noticed is just like, just how much power some of these centralized entities have just through the ideologies that they've created through like monetary policy. It's absolutely insane what they're able to do. I mean, they're literally just stealing millions from its people on a daily basis. You know, America especially, and then the rest of the world just has to follow because of the world reserve being here. And a lot of them can't keep up. You know, we've seen Sri Lanka kind of collapse. We've seen these prime ministers, you know, evading their countries left and right. You're seeing people get assassinated in Japan. Like, all the dominoes are going to fall, and then that final domino is America. You know, so and now that these dominoes, it seems like they've had to fall, it's going to be real interesting, like watching the world go to absolute shit as Hex is just like, hey, I'm here. You know, especially
that's a deep paradox, man.
Especially these
something has to decline for something else to go up.
These large international banking cartels as well, because it's like they've gained all their power from having the ability to print money whenever they want, and now that the rest of the world's going to have that ability, like you know, obviously not to the same extent. Like, not everybody can just, you know, print whatever money they want whenever they want. That's not really how this works. But it's like, at the end of the day, you know, Hex gives people the ability to make a contract with their self and mint yield based off of that contract. And like, that's something that we've been having to turn to the banks to do for us for years. It's stolen our privacy. It's stolen our security. It is slowly, you know, ripped its way through the democracies of the world and really, you know, handed these powers that we originally gave to our governments, you know, back over to these private industries and bureaucratic states. and it's really a scary situation to sit back and watch. I mean, me and Vince were on Twitter laughing earlier about the whole monkeypox situation. Like,
I saw that.
how do you how far are they gonna take this shit, dude?
Bro, they
Like,
have
as
to,
far as they
they
can,
have,
man.
they have to take it all the way because
and I can't believe
they're going to lose unless they don't take it all the way.
like, I think to a certain extent, like, I understand why people originally freaked out over COVID because it was just such a sudden shift. But how do you not like just sit down and just think about the things that have been happening over the past couple of years and not call bullshit?
Yeah.
Smashed said it before. It's ego, man.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
if you really boil down all the world's problems, it's ego. It's fucking unbalanced people and their unbalanced egos. I watched something on fucking George Soros the other day, and all of the shit that he went through in, you know, the Nazi camps and his family all dying and that. Like, that motherfucker has been holding on to this like vengeance and revenge for his entire life, and he doesn't give a fuck who he hurts. He doesn't give a fuck who gets fucked up by it. Like, that is from an unbalanced place internally. Like, if you're balanced inside, you don't give a fuck about revenge. Like, you just don't, man. Like,
Literally,
all of these people, like, think about Bill Gates, man. Like, that dude was a fucking nerd before nerds were cool, before nerds were even a thing. Like, that dude probably got bullied the shit out of him. He like got in trouble for being a monopolist.
dude, I saw this one video, and it was like him walking up to some kind of building, and somebody somebody just slapped him in the face with a pie. And some
favorite fucking videos. On
somebody was like, they were like, "This is the moment Bill Gates decided to destroy everybody." Hit me in the face with a pie. You know what? I'm just gonna steal all your farmland and make you eat bugs.
Oh my god,
dude! And it's born out of this place of like, this is what children do when they don't get their way. What did children do?
Oh yeah,
they throw a temper tantrum. That's it. That's all. What, like, people like to think that these people are like, oh yeah, he's successful and he's well educated. This dude is a fucking child. This dude is a literal grown child. You don't want to do this to people if you're healthy and happy and centered and balanced inside.
And it's like
yourself.
people
that is not.
They tend to look at these elites like more like, you know, what they have instead of the actions that they're actually putting forward.
Absolutely.
And it's
because
like,
they've conditioned the society to go, oh, money's the most important thing, Lambos and women and fucking, you know, all of like, they have engineered the culture.
It's like, if somebody
want those things,
if they see somebody that has that too, they're like, oh, he knows their way.
Yeah,
you know, like,
got that status.
Or the inverse. Fuck that guy. That guy's a billionaire. That guy's greedy. I hate money.
Scammer.
Yeah, dude, the amount of people that just hate money, dude.
What, this hate asshole money, wants to give me free shit?
Yeah, if you hate money, what's the likelihood that you're ever gonna have a lot of money?
Exactly.
Slim and none. Slim and fucking none, though.
Yeah, McCaff.
Oh, McAfee. Rip McAfee.
That shit was ass.
I love John McAfee, man. Like the drugs, the fucking tax evasion, the like fuck the government shit. Dude, that's got a place in my heart forever. Rest in peace, bro.
What a dude.
For real. We need more.
I think his original antivirus software was pretty good back in the day until he sold off his company to some other entity. But
that's what happens, man.
There's levels to this humor. Yeah.
People get wealthy, and then it's like, oh, I just stopped caring about the rest of humanity. Like, what the fuck is that about?
Yeah.
Well, it's because they figure you got better things to do than to worry about other people. I mean, go fly your private jets, go buy some tigers or something. You know, they're like, whatever. They're jealous. Yeah. It all comes down to ego, man.
It does,
it's
dude.
All
it
ego.
Does.
I'm not gonna lie. I might go buy a tiger when I'm rich and heck.
Hell no.
I'll go half.
I'll even get like the Mike Tyson. I'll even get like the Mike Tyson tattoo to go with it.
Fuck no, man.
Get like an
hold you to
ear
that.
stapled to my wall.
A human ear.
Tripping.
Oh my god.
It happens all the time, though. You say, like, look at someone like Eminem, dude. Before that dude really fucking blew up, that's when all of his best work happened. Everything that was
Yeah.
raw and fucking like, man, I'm addicted to drugs. Man, I live in a trailer park. Man, life is shit. I'm all of these things. And then,
My
fame.
mom is the kitchen popping pills.
Yeah, now I'm
Like,
rapping
all
about
that shit.
fucking Godzilla and like what the fuck, dude? Like,
Venom and shit.
I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
he did kind of fall into this like weird, you know.
It's because he's mainstream now.
He-
So he has
yeah,
to watch
yeah,
it.
I don't know.
Everyone, dude.
Somebody needs to
Everyone
call up
falls
his
into that
mom.
trap.
Somebody
Yeah,
needs to call
that-
up his mom and tell him to go piss off him again, because
There's only a few people that actually transcend that. Like, if you look at someone like Joe Rogan, he's still doing the same shit that he was doing before he was famous. Like, before he really blew up, he was podcasting. He's still he's still podcasting now. He's still doing stand-up comedy. Like, there's a certain level of people that have a drive and a hunger that goes beyond material wealth and success. Richard has that, man. Richard's a fucking G, dude. He's a king. He's a baller. And that is not enough for him. That is not going to satisfy Richard. What is going to satisfy Richard is endless bragging rights for all eternity, for all the glory, for all of the look at all the people that I helped. Look at all the things that I saved. Look at all the cool stuff that I can do. Like, it's a different mentality. And some people are just there to get fucking rich. And some people are there to really change themselves and the world. And
I can't imagine being able to be like, oh yeah, I remember you. You were really rich, treating the world like shit before I fixed it.
Yeah,
fucking nobody.
Dude, that's a flex, dude. That's a hard fucking flex.
Well,
man.
whenever I look at Richard and I look at like, you know, obviously you can't be too sure, but this guy's got to be one of the, you know, he's got to be up there as one of the richest guys in the world. Like, my theory is somebody just really pissed him off, and now he's just going for all the throats. Like, he was like, you know what, this group of people just sucks.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong about that, and I think the answer is pretty obvious. It's you know, it's the Bitcoin maxis. Because you know, they like he's not on their team anymore, obviously, and so you know they kind of viewed that as a betrayal, and you know they just all kind of turned on him.
Yeah,
as you could tell with that, the space that he was in like a couple days ago.
Yeah,
so I think it's mostly them, driving that
like
sort of like anger and motivation in him.
And I think that's why he's been so adamant on building the Hex community the way he has, because it's not the main point that he made about why he left Bitcoin that kind of stuck with me is that like all the people that own it now are just shitty people. Like when you look at where most of the economic energy that's in Bitcoin is centralized, it's all centralized in people that are either straight up criminals or just venture capitalists trying to be middlemen, which is exactly what Bitcoin is trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
So it's like none of the economic energy that's in Bitcoin really stands for any of the political beliefs that Bitcoin was created for.
Yeah, exactly. I think Bitcoin sort of hit an inflection point where, like, since the unit price, shot up so high, like, ordinary people like us, like, we don't have like 50K to spend on one Bitcoin. So the only entities that could come in and pump the price more were, the centralized, financial institutions and banks that crypto was originally, invented to get rid of. The Bitcoiners, wanting to pump their bags even more, they welcome these entities in.
Yeah.
Because that was their way of pumping their bags and getting more exit liquidity. So they sacrificed the original ideals of what crypto was made for, in exchange for just getting richer.
Which is the antithesis of this movement and this just the cryptosphere in general, man. The cryptosphere has it's lost its way, man. And that
hypocrisy at its finest,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
It lost its way probably like 20. I don't even know because I haven't been in it since the beginning. But like I got in 2017, and a lot of that stuff that Richard was talking about the other day, you know, in 2013, it's all kumbaya, and we're trying to take down the government, and we're literally trying to do that with Bitcoin. Like that's gone. That's
It's
not
gone.
here
It's
anymore.
not there.
Now it's like, oh, it's digital gold. The fuck?
Oh my god, their
Yeah.
narrative. Oh my god, like when you really think about it, it's really cringe. Like whenever you
It
just
is,
when
dude.
you just really sit back and you're just like, because a lot of people look at crypto and it's like, oh, the people that are into that are just too smart for me, or like, you know, people that have no
Magic internet
they have
money.
no exposure to crypto at all, and they're looking at it like these guys
Yeah.
are just, yo, there's a lot of fucking idiots in crypto.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of idiots everywhere.
There's a lot of like
It's even it's arguably even worse in crypto because it's idiots that think that they're smart, but are actually
Oh
still
god,
idiots
yeah.
like Bitcoin maxis
instead of
remind
actual
me.
idiots.
Bitcoin
Yeah.
maxi reminds me of that kid that always has his hand up first in class, like he always just got
And
some.
then gives the wrong answer anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Ask
he's
the
always,
stupidest question.
yeah, he's
Like,
sitting there like, and then they just,
dude,
oh my god, bro, like
Richard
they just,
always says this as well. Like, you have all of these fucking billionaires, right? Billionaires. Winklevoss twins, Chamath, all these dudes. Like, this is spaghetti code. Go and get a fucking audit. Like, how much does it go and take to pay for an audit for Bitcoin? None of these dudes are billionaires, and they won't go and pay for like a $50,000 audit. Dude,
Yeah.
like that's the level of greed. I can't even part with $50,000 out of my $4 billion that I have to make sure that this is safe and effective, so that my bags can continue to pump further into the future. Like the level of stupidity just everywhere these days is just staggering to me.
and it's the worst.
And it's only
time.
going to get
It's
worse.
like yeah, it's the
Yes.
worst. It's the worst time to have this kind of stupidity too, because like
We
you're
need strong leaders right now.
Yeah, your governments are out of control, and your IQ is, you know, about as useful as a milk dud right now. So it's just like,
yeah. Oh, and
Your
to
IQ
that
is
end,
also out of control.
yeah, to that end, and to kind of circle back, for my personal answer on your question, I actually don't think that you know, Congress is just so like the people, you know, writing laws in our country specifically, like they're so like out of touch with technology that I don't think they'll ever, you know, legislate crypto or you know,
oh yeah,
specifically Hex properly, because like some of them don't even know how to, like, you know, check their own freaking email. So
like
it's like
honestly, it's like
what hope do you have
Facts,
for them to
dude.
understand
people
crypto?
that are getting elected to our like congressional seats these days just need to take their ass to Wall Street to trade, because that's basically all they're using it for. Like you just have a bunch of you have a bunch of inside traders that are just like using government seats to just get like other people, their friends, or even themselves, you know, like more wealthy because they're using like, you know, governmental advantage. It's like really gross. Like,
Yeah.
like I remember somebody was like, somebody asked Nancy Pelosi if Paul Pelosi had made any investments based on
I saw that
information,
clip. Yeah.
and she was just like, no, I've never done that, and it just left the
And she
podium.
walked away. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what?
Dude, someone cut a Dave Chappelle skit together with that same thing is fucking hilarious, man. If you see that Dave Chappelle
see that.
skit
Yeah.
cut in with it's so good, man. One of the big problems about having old people in power is that really in a society, a healthily functioning society, you want young people in these positions of power because they're going to have to live under the rules that they're making.
I would believe that. Yeah, that's the level
Sounds
of
about right.
intelligence we have.
Oh my god, it just reminds
when
me
you
of
have-
all that. It just reminds me of all that Hunter Biden shit. Because you know
Oh, God, yeah.
the FBI was just like, oh yeah, we got his laptop. but we lost his laptop, and then like a couple months later, a bunch of people on 4chan were just like, yeah, here's all the shit he's been doing. And he's got like Joe Biden listed as like pedo Pete in his phone, and like he's just smoking crack with a bunch of illegally smuggled hookers. And it's like, all right, huge wake up call, guys. Your government is sending your people to war in another country to protect the investments of a guy who is spending that money on hookers and crack.
Arguing with them too about how much crack he has.
So yeah. He's like, I got 20 grams right here. I got it on this scale.
Like, what the hell, bro? What is he thinking?
Dude, he's like ass naked in one of the videos, masturbating with a gun in his hand, and it's like, bro, this is our. If any other president's son was acting like this and sending videos like this to his pedophile father who's in office for us, we would be. I just can't believe that it's not even a thing that people talked about. Like, that shit completely avoided all media. Like, it made it to Twitter and stuff, but like you didn't see anything about it on the media, which is absolutely wild. Because I can't imagine, like, you know, with all political beliefs aside, I can't imagine if somebody like Donald Trump's son did something like that. Like, the media would have been all over. They would have been all over that shit.
Been devouring him, yeah.
The other thing about having like all of these old people in fucking positions of power is that like they're writing laws that benefit them in real time. It's not about future generations anymore. It's like, oh, dude, I've got 10 years left. Let's fuck everyone and everything, and let me go and get my fucking bag, and I'll be happy, and then I'll just coast on out into death. Like, and then while doing that, I'll simultaneously fuck everyone else.
Like, literally, because it's like,
what?
Oh, how many of these, like, because it's obviously something that's been talked about, but it's not something that's been like really considered, is like, how many of these people in power are part of these really large like pedophile rings, dude? Because like it seems to me that whether it's financially or physically, it just seems like fucking kids is the one thing that people in power love doing right now. And it's the weirdest shit. It's the most disgusting shit in the world.
Kids, fucking, like that, you know, that anything Joe Biden does.
Like, get off of him! What are you doing?
50 fucking videos and photos of him sniffing children publicly as the fucking president. Like, the fuck?
Yeah. I don't care if you're the president or not, bro. I'll be like, back away from my daughter, yo.
He's getting rocked. Secret Service about to jump me so quick.
Can you imagine just having PTSD because the freaking president was sniffing up on you, bro? Like, that shit was pissed me off.
Fuck, man. That just creeps me the fuck out.
Yeah, seriously.
Swear to God, you'd see me live just slapping the president because I wouldn't be able to do it. Yeah. All that is just absolutely insane. Yeah. The real world has some hidden Easter eggs for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah. I mean, aside from all that, it's just, like having just, sort of like old and out of touch people in Congress and stuff is just, it's terrible because like aside from all that other stuff, like their worldview is just, like stuck in, the past sort of
in a time when
they were young and they have no clue what kind of innovations have gone on since then, and so like that, that's why we're kind of stuck in limbo with when it comes to things like crypto tax laws and all that, because they're since they have pretty much like no running concept of what crypto actually is. They're still using laws from like other segments like the stock market to try to regulate crypto, and it's just like fucking mess.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I know, didn't Biden vote for something similar like Roe versus Wade back in like the 80s or some shit like that? Like there was a
Yeah,
similar
he
law
I don't know
being
about
passed.
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
he basically, yeah, I mean he voted towards a very similar bill to get it out of federal legislation. And then he turns around, what is it, like, 30 years later to basically like pump his
Exactly.
political bags,
His
basically.
ideals. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, he's like, I'm on y'all side. Y'all should have the right to do this, even though I voted against that 30 years ago. But that was 30 years ago. Who
Yeah.
cares? I got y'all's back.
Mm-mm-mm.
Uh-oh, that boy Purple Wobbs is in here. Uh man, I
Good
don't
question.
yeah, I mean it is. It's a good question. I mean, I think it's gonna happen through financial change before it actually happens through political change, if that makes any sense. Like I think we're gonna
Yeah.
see larger shifts in our economic and monetary policy before we actually are able to change, who we're getting out in front of us to actually vote for them. Because the matter of the fact is right now is that none of us are politically invested. Like we have large super PACs that are just able to put way more money towards funding these candidates to get put in front of people to vote for.
Yeah,
And
it's literally a numbers game of money, and we just don't have
you
the
know,
resources to
even though
influence
we
that kind of
have the
thing.
ability to vote, the consensus of who's being put in front of us is tilted, and it's being
Yeah,
played on an unfair court because of our monetary policy. So I think the monetary policy and the characteristics of our financial system have to change first, and then we can start worrying about how we're going to use that newly found consensus to put people in front of us that we want in office.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I put in my Twitter bio: "Fix the money, fix the world." You got to fix the money system first before
But
everything else
if
gets a chance to fall in place.
if
So
I was going to take like a wild guess, I mean, I think Hex over the next 5 to 10 years is really going to show itself as a top crypto. And then I think
I think so too. Yeah.
I think in the next 5 to 10 years after that, we could see it, because now we're 15, 20 years in. We could really start seeing Hex, take over as, something that just has far superior characteristics of money. And then, maybe another 5 to. So I think in between 20 to 30 years, we'll probably see, like Hex and its financial change really start to have effect on what we're able to do with our politics. And that's conservative for me. I mean, I think it could happen faster, but I would say 20 to 30 years before we actually start seeing like us getting who we want into office, whether it's later generation or early generation, because I think it's definitely still good to have a veteran, people who are very very well oiled in their understanding of what their political role is. I think that's important. So I don't think it's necessarily more about getting young people in there. It's about getting people in there who should actually be there and is going to work for the best benefit of the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great way to put it.
That's a pretty good answer. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very intricate answer, but it's a good answer.
Thanks.
Purple Wobbs is also one of mine and Smash Kane's buddies. We'll probably get him. Yeah, we'll probably get him here on a stream one of these days, because I know he definitely wants to learn more about Hex. He's new to the crypto space as well. So and I'm gonna use this platform for that a lot. Guys that just want to come in and talk about it. You don't even have to say a whole lot. You just want that hands-on experience with what's happening, and you want to talk about it, even if you've been in crypto, never been in crypto, interested in crypto, not interested in crypto, but still like to talk about this stuff. I'm going to have people on just to talk about it. So, I don't know exactly.
There was a point in time when none of us were in crypto.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly.
We all had to learn the hard way. Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
I've only been in it like a year, I think, like a year and some change, maybe. But yeah, I've been soaking up all the knowledge. That's why I'm in this stream right now. I'm listening to the OGs, the people who've been in longer than me, man. I mean, it's insane. I definitely feel smarter than I did a year ago. Big brain.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's a sign that you're learning.
Yeah,
It's
it's
crazy how
definitely.
far you can come in a short time with it as well.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
did you think a year ago you'd be on stream right now?
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
And the
Exactly.
good thing is too is that it's like the community that you ended up in, because it's like depending on where you end up in crypto, your IQ can only go down from there.
Oh, whoa, that's so.
Yeah,
Like they can
that's
they
a
can
great
just
point.
they will
Yeah.
take your ignorance and turn it into like a more confusing ignorance. Like it's
Yeah.
I'm
Well-
very, very blessed that I ended up in the Hex community off the bat, because I didn't even
Yeah.
have to. I haven't fought through any other bear markets. I haven't lost all my money because I didn't understand what I was doing. Like I came into crypto because I was using it for anonymous reasons, and then didn't even realize that like the anonymity that I would like he already knows where I'm going with this. Like, so like,
Hashtag Silk Road.
basically,
Hold on, Jane.
I want to be anonymous, but I'm gonna get Coinbase to approve my transaction. Just very, very like
KYC, just KYC yourself.
very childish and ignorant. But then it kind of, I remember, because this is literally how it happened. I was like, using it for those reasons. And then basically I saw things like staking on Coinbase. Like I was like, oh, Cosmos, that's dope. I can just buy it, hold it. It pays me like 5% APY. That's pretty dope. And hey, it might even go up in price. And then I remember I literally just one day I was just like, I wonder if there's any cryptos that pay more than this 5%. And I was literally just like high yielding staking crypto. And literally Hex popped up and I ended up here and I was like, let's go. Like
Dude,
very
every time I open up my Coinbase app, all I see is like the top 5 coins and then Hex. But in the top 5 coins, like they have Cardano there, and they have Cardano like listed with the APY that they give if you're holding your coins on cold. It's 2.6%, man.
Yeah.
You want to give up your private keys for 2.6% of Cardano?
But hey, it's still better than a bank, right?
yeah,
Facts.
right.
Facts.
That is crazy though.
Facts.
The fact that that's literally still better than a bank is just.
Yeah, I mean, that just shows there's nuanced levels to all of this, but
absolutely,
Hex is obviously still at the top. So
yeah.
Oh, by the way,
Man.
I gotta call out Cosmos for one thing, which I kind of found out myself the hard way, staking through it as well. But the thing I don't like about them is that they have a 21-day unstaking period, so your money is literally stuck there for 3 weeks when you're trying to unstake it.
Damn,
it's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my god!
Like, because
21
days is an eternity in crypto. Like you know how the price can drop.
Oh yeah.
How much can drop in 21 days? So,
it's like having to give your job a 2-week notice before you quit. Like,
yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
3 week notice.
Like, oh, so y'all can treat me like shit, and basically, basically start talking about how you're gonna fire me, but if I quit, I gotta give a 2-week notice.
Yeah.
Have you ever been fired from a job and they're like, yeah, just stay until the end of the day?
No, they usually wait till the end of the day before they fire. Like, yeah, by the way, you're out of here.
All right, got those hours.
Free work out of you.
Yeah, right. All right, just had to have somebody scheduled for the day, but yeah, you're fired, kid. No, dude, that's never happened to me, but I would definitely hit my manager over something like that. Don't use me like that.
We like to pretend that like work is some like, oh, we're helping each other, and like if I just go and work for you, then I'll get some like, bro, they're just giving you a fucking pittance, enough for you to shut your fucking mouth.
You're literally giving up your own dream to help achieve your boss's dream.
That's right.
That's literally what it is.
And hey, just work hard, work for a lifetime, and then
I just imagine like
society is so.
I just imagine like coming home, walking into my bedroom, having like the hamster wheel in the corner, having like the water bottle coming through my window. Just have this like very like. That's what it feels like. It feels like
just do it at home. Just build it at home, and then you're always at work.
It's like it's. I don't know. Maybe the hamster wheel can run my mining machine. I don't know. Like,
Renewables. I've got it, guys. Let's fill up the BTC mining farms with hamster wheels, and we'll put poor people.
And everybody who's okay with being a wage slave just can just go hop their ass in the wheel.
That's I think though the reason that things don't change is
especially
that people
these Bitcoin maxis. I got a problem with people
cool with this. People are cool with like working for 50 years of their life, giving up their like. Explain this to me in some other way that makes sense.
I actually asked my dad that question earlier. I was like, so was there ever a point in your life where you just realized that you were going to work the rest of your life and just didn't like the idea of that? And he was just like, honestly, I didn't. It just wasn't how I was raised. Like my idea of just basically his answer was just like, no, like working till you got old was just normal.
Yeah,
and it's
just,
like
what they did.
It's so weird, man.
It makes me wonder like why so many people in our generation think so differently, because I feel like we were definitely raised with those same kind of ideologies, yet we're still thinking differently.
It's really the invention. The advent of crypto really kind of opened up a new paradigm and literally changed the world, because the entire system of working for a company and and then retiring and then living off Social Security or whatever, that was all dictated by government and fiat currency. But now we have separation of money and state, so to speak. So yeah, I mean
things like the internet too. Like once the internet just got fucking loose on society, man. Like the amount of memes that are out there, like the internet released shit like Hunter Biden's laptop, man. Like they can't control this shit the way that they used to be able to control it. And like as kids we're not kids anymore, but like people that have grown up in this generation and we've watched our parents, we've watched the people around us give up their whole fucking life for a pittance. And then we look at that and we go, man, is that my fate? Is that what I'm destined to be? Like, nah, motherfucker, I'm not gonna live that life. Like, just like for me, that's the antithesis of me. Like, I'd rather kill myself. I would rather kill myself than be
live
a
whole
slave
life
for 50 fucking years.
Yeah.
Really, truly.
And I think that's why we see like mental health as bad as it is today. Like mental health is, I mean, the numbers in today's world are just staggering, compared to, the rest of history. And it's like, you ask the question, it's like, well, why? Like, we're more advanced. We have things that make our life more convenient, but that doesn't necessarily mean our life is more convenient than it was before. I mean, when these things that gave you convenience turn around and take your security and privacy with it, it doesn't necessarily lead to a more convenient life. You're given the illusion that it is. And it's and Vince and Bitfinesse both make the really good point that crypto really just rapidly changed everything, because honestly, I think I was where most people were before crypto. I was like, well, I'm just gonna have to figure it out. I'm gonna have to go to college. I'm gonna have to find some kind of high paying job. I'm gonna like, that's basically where my mind was. And then I started listening to people like Richard, and he's like, dude, you don't have the time for that shit. You just don't. Like, you don't have the time to just work your entire life. Like, there's innovation is the only kind of work that people should be doing. And like it should be things that people are finding joy in, and it's also bringing value to other people. And a lot of that stems from market toxicity and what people actually see as valuable today. But at the end of the day, people can bring value to other people's life without having to be a wage slave.
Facts.
So that's something. Yeah. And I'm honestly with you here.
I'm learn to code.
Yeah, I'm actually going to school for computer science. I start back up in a week. Got like a pretty difficult math class to get past, but after that, it's a whole bunch of JavaScript and real like You know, because it's like Richard has said, you know, you look back over the past 20 years, and it definitely looks like the biggest innovation we have is software. You know, no matter where it is, you know, whether it's on blockchain or whether it's, you know, you look at Apple, you look at Microsoft, you look at Amazon. I mean, software is just taking over the world. So, you know, the idea of like learning code, it's definitely intimidating, but it's like, if you're trying to have real use case and real skill moving into the future that we're kind of moving into, I think software is a great way to go. It's, you know, it's difficult. It's definitely like learning another language. But yeah, I mean, I think going forward, you know, a lot of our existing infrastructure is going to have to be replaced by some kind of software and consensus across that software. It'll be it'll be pretty interesting to watch. But yeah, I'm with you there, human hex trafficker. That fucking name gets me every time.
I love it. I've met him in person, by the way. You're a great dude. You know,
Oh,
solid
nice.
Mexican. Yeah.
I've seen the name before.
Now that I got
Twitter?
some,
I think so. I feel like I have too now that you say that.
yeah, I definitely.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I definitely, now that I got more time on my hands, I'm thinking like the next like big meetup that everybody goes to, I'm definitely gonna try to go to, because I definitely want to meet some of you guys in person. That shit would be really cool, because I feel like it's crazy because I know most of y'all through Twitter and then obviously through some of these streams, but I mean, like, the Hex community has been my family since I came in, so
yeah,
I definitely want to get to meet some of you guys. Meeting Richard would be dope too.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That'll all happen. That'll all happen. We got so long together, man.
Yeah, for real.
I see a lot of people like rushing around and like, oh man, I got to get to this thing, or I got to get to that thing, or I got to do this, or I got to do that, or like, slow down a little bit. Like, we're at the bottom of bear market now. If you're having to sell a huge part of your stack just to go travel to a conference, or like, chill, man, chill.
And also,
wait
like,
until the time where you sell at the top, and then you can go and do that stuff. Like,
and also
we're all going to be here 15 years.
Yeah.
The world's also just going to shit right now, so it's like, well, you know, it's not a whole lot of places you can actually just go and enjoy. You might as well sit back and try to fix some of these problems and then enjoy it, because I'm with you there, man. I would just like to go out on a cruise. I've been watching a lot of One Piece, and I feel like just getting out on the ocean would be. I feel like just getting out on the ocean would be really dope. Go and just land at some random island that I defined on a compass and go explore it.
That's fire.
That's what I'm. Yeah, you gotta have your crew too. You gotta have the cook,
absolutely,
navigator.
Yep.
I don't want like a whole. I don't even want like the whole yacht either, bro. I don't need all that. I just need a nice little ship. Nice one. Sailing sounds fun. I don't know, you know. Also, fucking terrifying. Can you imagine just hitting a storm? Should be crazy.
Nah. Be shitting yourself, man. Nah. I don't fuck with the ocean. That's one thing. I don't even like. No, I just don't.
That's how I feel about airplanes.
Well, see, the thing is with the airplane is I feel like I could sleep for a majority of the airplane until we start hitting some turbulence or something. But on a boat, that shit is constantly like rocking all the time. I feel like you couldn't get comfortable.
Yeah, I think what gets me about planes is not really the turbulence, just like the 30,000 feet up in the air. I don't know, there's something about that.
Well, I don't know.
There's nowhere to fall. Like, if you fall into the ocean, you're pretty safe.
Anyway,
like you fall out of the sky.
Yeah.
Bit different, you know.
I don't know, if you fall at that height, dude, it doesn't matter what you're hitting.
Game over.
I mean, the air is probably gonna knock you out before you ever even.
You'll probably die of a heart attack of scaring yourself before you even hit the ground. To be honest,
you know it. It's just like pure hopelessness. Like you're just like, I'm literally falling at terminal velocity.
Oh my god.
Can we slow down the gravity for a minute? Like you don't have a choice in that position.
Oh man.
Your channel's been going on for
Yeah,
a while,
so
man. Year?
so
Like a year?
I've been here for about a year. You guys haven't seen me in about a year. I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I've been moving all over the place. I've lived in about 4 different places, 3 different time zones in the past year, and it's just been
Fuck,
it's been impossible to get
God,
my
that's hectic. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean just between work and school and everything else that's going on with, because Vince, I think if I'm right, you're on the West Coast. That's where I was
Yeah.
for a little bit. And, you obviously know like gas prices and
Yeah.
everything.
for
I
sure.
mean, Washington State was getting ready to change their gas pumps because they can't put $10 on it. It only has like the 3 digits. So it's like, like
Oh, that's amazing.
there's just all types of um appreciate it, Ballet.
Yo, what's up, Brand?
Brand,
Yeah.
the man.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming by, for real, just showing your support.
thanks.
Like I said, I haven't
Yeah,
been here
thanks,
in a
guys.
while, so to have you guys just come by, show your support, I really appreciate it. So but yeah, man, just like moving all over the place and trying to keep up with school, trying to keep up with work and all these other things. It was just I was finding really hard time to just like find a good schedule to just do it, at a good pace, because I don't know. I like to stay consistent with things. I don't necessarily like to um I don't necessarily like to just like go in and out on, just like a random hunch. Like if I'm going to do streaming, I'd like to do it like every week or every 2 weeks, something like that. So just trying to find a good schedule to get into is impossible. But yeah, basically I'm back with my family now, so that gives me a little bit of a support system and less liability on my finances, and time allows me to dump a little bit more time back into the community, because God knows we need it. We need as much people out here talking about this stuff as possible.
Yeah,
Facts.
for sure.
Facts.
But yeah, it actually looks like it's getting to about that time though, guys. We're sitting at an hour and 41 minutes, so
Damn,
I think we
that
can,
really flew by.
yeah,
I'm not
it
gonna
really,
lie to you.
yeah, it really
Yeah.
did. We've been talking for a minute, so this was a great stream to just kind of get me back into it. So like I said, I appreciate you guys coming by. We'll definitely we'll do it
We
again.
appreciate you,
Yeah, for
homie.
sure.
Yeah,
exactly.
Thanks for hosting this, man.
yeah, absolutely. I had a really good time tonight. Like I said, that time did fly past, but I feel like we definitely got a lot of stuff into it. So that's exactly what I was hoping for, just bounce ideas off of each other and just kind of see where it goes. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely probably set one up for next week again. Probably get some new people in here if we can get any other people to come in. And if you guys want to stop by again, yeah, please just let me know.
For sure. Stop by anytime, man. Anytime.
Oh yeah, sounds good, yo. And you never know what happens in crypto, so I'm sure in a week we'll have more stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Endless.
Always something new every day.
Sweet. All right, guys. Well, y'all be safe. It was good talking to y'all.
Of course, man. Thanks for having us on.
Out.
Latest, guys.
All right. Peace out, everybody.